The basis of this morning's question follows on from yesterday's visioning, because since I was in Orlando over the Christmas and New Year period, we have spoken before about the continued evolution of my life experience, and more specifically, the reconstruction of my relationships, or my relationship, more primarily, that's poignant in my life at the moment. And coming off of the South Pacific cruise, the experience of that alone was very catalytic for my life and set forth a set of decisions and subsequent actions that have been coming to fruition as I have been, I love this word, marinating what it is that I am stepping forth into, what it is that I desire from a relational component. However, I don't know why I'm saying however, and while in Orlando, I really challenged myself to find what it means as I'm looking holistically across my whole life experience. I'm challenging myself, what does it mean to go forth from this point to live a life by creative design? And what does that mean to me? How, when I find my life, when I base my life upon creative design, I had 30 minutes in the back of this conference room this morning when we first got in, just overwhelming goosebumps. And that's my acknowledgement of my source within me. We've spoken about it many times. And I want to, if possible, because I've made some quantum leaps with you before, and I want to understand how I can make those quantum leaps again, but from a holistic perspective, to feel. I came across my use of words this morning. What does that creative life look and feel like? And I said, no, that's not the way I should be verbalizing it. What does that creative life feel then look like? And at that point is when the goosebumps came.
Because everything that you said before was sort of convoluted and trying too hard. But that statement, what does it feel and then look like, got right to what we're talking about finding the vibration of it, being in the receptive mode, and then allowing the natural guidance or evolution into what it looks like. Because everything that you were saying before, not everything, but much of what you were saying before is about trying to figure out the pieces of it and trying to focus it into sort of a perfect thing. And that's what life has already been doing for you. You've put all of that into the vortex. So really what we want to say to you, and you're really ready to hear it, many of you are, if you can accept that through relationships that you have already lived, and the parts of them that you adored and the parts of them that you didn't so much adore, all of that valuable information has gone into your vortex, and the perfect relationship has become. It has already vibrationally become. So you don't have to go down the list of what that means. You don't have to go down the list of what that looks like. In fact, when you do, you usually mess it up, because you put it there and you meant it when you put it there, and Source really knows what's at the depths of your heart and what you really want, and so you put it there and it has become. So now your singular work is to wait for the impulse, wait for the flash to come, wait for the realization of it, and then if you can, do your best to just follow through with whatever that impulse is. Just follow through with whatever that impulse is. And it's not just the final destination of the perfect relationship that you're looking for that will come from this. It's the joyous journey along the way. It's the life-giving, day by day by day by day, feeling really good about that and everything else all day, every day. We have done some of this to all of you with all of the processes. Ask and It Is Given has 21 processes or 22 processes that are all helping you to get into a better receptive mode. But at this state of your evolution, and we say this specifically and directly to you, you understand everything that you need to understand. All that is necessary now is that you recognize what the receiving mode feels like, and do 100% of your motion forward by being in the receiving mode. Well, we talked about this yesterday. What that requires is understanding or being aware of, consciously aware of, the association between how something turned out and the thought that you know that you were thinking or the way that you were feeling about it. Your mood or attitude or opinion or thoughts that you think are always turning into things. And as you begin noticing that this didn't turn out so good, and then you realize, Esther had an experience not too long ago where she hired a person who really wanted her to hire him. And she'll buy a car just because the car salesman wants to sell it to her. In other words, she's sort of an accommodating person in that way. So this man said to her, could you find a place for me? And Esther initially said, no, I really don't have a place. But then as he walked away and she saw how hopeful he was, and so she thought, well, or do I? And so she started making a list of things that he might do. And she called him back in a little while and she said, you know, I made a list, so I guess maybe I do. Well, she hired him and it didn't turn out well at all. Not even close to well. So far from well that it was the best experience that she's had maybe ever, because it was so easy for her to make the association between how that turned out and what her state of mind was when it happened. What was going on with me around that time that he came to me? And she had a new property. She was overwhelmed with it. She was needing to leave. She had set several things in motion, but she had to go because she had other places like this that she needed to be. And so she sort of needed someone to overlook it. And she knew that she had a vibration of vulnerability, a vibration of overwhelmment. That was the basis. Those were the thoughts that turned to that thing, to that experience. So what a wonderful thing that is. What a wonderful thing to be able to, after the fact, and who cares? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They had a very nice party, and she said, you know, this just really isn't working out, and he knew it too. He knew that he wasn't ready for what she was asking of him, and he really cared about her and did not want to disappoint her. They left with a very good friendship. In other words, nothing went wrong. In fact, everything went right, because things are always working out for Esther, even when she hires the wrong person. Things are always working out because she got clarity, and right behind that came someone so spectacular that she couldn't even put words to it, that she would not have even offered the job to, because she didn't know he was available if he hadn't been part of the mix of that. In other words, things are always working out. But you got to trust that. You have to trust two things. You have to trust that your vortex is real, and that what's in it is really, really good, and that what you want is ready for you, whether you are ready for it or not. And then the other thing is you got to get ready. And you get ready by having fun. You get ready by chilling out. You get ready by loving life. You get ready by appreciating as much as you can. You just get ready, and then you follow your bliss. And as you follow your bliss and these thoughts turn to things that are so pleasing, then you say, oh, it's so much simpler than I have given myself belief about. Do you know why you don't believe how easy it is? Oh, I love you so much. It's because you don't feel worthy. You don't trust that it could be that good and that easy, that you are so loved that things are just lined out for you. You don't feel worthy enough to believe that you get to choose. You don't feel worthy enough that you believe that after you've chosen that it will happen. And the reason that you don't have belief that this is working for you is because you're noticing so many things that aren't working out for so many people, and you can't believe that you would be the special one that things would work out for. And we say it would work out for all of them if they would get into the receptive mode and allow it, you see. Helpful?
Yes.
Make it easier, not harder. How can you take the conversation that you eloquently gave to us? We are appreciating every word you spoke. How can you speak that now, meaning what you meant? How can you speak it in simpler, easier terms? I kind of think I might know what I want, but I'm not sure, but I'm willing to follow my nose a little bit and see. There's really no risk involved, because it might not turn out and I might have to fire this person. Can you do other than go from where you are? Can you be someplace other than where you are? That's the question. Can you be someplace other than where you are? And can you happily move in the direction other than forward? So what's the rub?